Hello, archers. Because it's a bit crap weather outside, I thought I'd do some indoor training, and then I thought, well, why don't I do a YouTube video about correct stance? Well, what I consider to be correct stance. It's one of the things that when you're in a club, I mean, as a longbower, it's important to me because I don't have anything to fall back on if I cock up a shot. You've got your stance, you've got your release, you've got your focus, you've got nothing to rely on if any of those go awry. So they all have to be as close to perfect as you can get on. So I thought, seeing a lot of people actually in the clubs maybe having what I consider poor stance, I do a little clip about it. A, to remind myself that I need to keep working on mine, and B, to help anyone who's having a bit of an issue with their stance maybe, or is wondering, what other people consider correct stance. So today I'm going to be using my bow trainer because, again, small ceiling and longbows don't do too well indoor, and I don't really want to fling arrows or get ridiculously tired using my bow. So these are great. I will speak about these later on. It's basically a bow trainer, which is a load of rubber tubes, and depending on your draw length and how many tubes you pull, depends on the weight you draw. Idea being that you build yourself up from a lighter weight bow to a heavier weight bow, which is all well and good. So when thinking about stance, I like to think of the archer as being almost in a cross shape, a very linear sort of shape. The cross being your head and body in the centre, straight down an imaginary line between your feet, one line all the way down, and another one almost from your shoulders across that goes straight through the target that you're aiming for. So you get this sort of almost cross shape, if you get my meaning. Slightly different, obviously, because of your anchor point, and different people will have slightly different crosses, but I think the linear lines are very important. When I first started learning, my tutor in archery made a big point of this perpendicular line, and her point is that your arm should be straight and pointing through the target. You almost point your finger through the target, and when your bow is drawn back, from the back end of your elbow through your finger, you should have one straight target line, right the way through. Keeps you safe, keeps you in a straight line, hopefully helps avoid the string when you are releasing. So yeah, this is what I'm thinking about. So I'll do a little bit about drawing your bow as well, because that's another thing that people seem to have issues with. So what I like to do, especially with beginners, is I tell them to hold their bow in their bow hand and relax both their arms at the sides. Then lift up your bow arm, just perpendicular, and then this is an important part. Rotate just your wrist. That way you don't stick your elbow. You see quite a few people hyperextending and sticking this bit of the elbow, and that's when you catch yourself, and that really hurts. So arms at the side, bow arms straight up, rotate just the wrist. Don't need to move that now, that's in the right position, right? Again, then with beginners, for the string draw, I say, using this arm, reach over, grab two strings, okay? But with a longbow, it's slightly different draw, but for now, let's do the French drawing rather than the old English bending of the bow, which I'll talk about in a bit. So, holding this there, you then draw back to your anchor point. Now, can you see, and this is quite heavy, that line is perpendicular from this elbow through my hand through to where the target was. That is the line I'm on about, that sort of cross shape throughout your thing. And it also allows you to be quite stable. Obviously, if you're a hunter or something, you're not always going to have the ability to have a standing straight shot. But as far as target shooting is concerned and practice, it helps you really practice release if you can have that strong shape. In regard to the longbow thing I was just talking about, I don't know whether it's an overbow thing, but you do see slight variations on the draw. I mean, the standard draw is hold arm out, draw back, release. You also get what I think is when people are slightly overbowed, but not too much, which is the elbow roll, which I think is quite dangerous, especially with heavier bows and the hyperextension. You see with some people, people tend to do this and then up and bring down, which is all, I mean, it's all well and good, but try doing that with a 60-pound bow. I tried it once and I nearly took my arm out of the socket. It's just not right. So another technique, if you are slightly overbowed, that I learned was what I call a rising draw. So I have both my arms slightly bent. Again, stare at the target, and then all you do is you're rising and stretching that at the same time. It's locking this arm in the same sort of position, but without the roll that damages your shoulder. So you get slightly more easy draw. Yeah, I mean, I'll talk about release in another video and maybe do some videos of me shooting, but as far as draws are concerned, that's really all I have to say about it. I mean, you got to get a consistent draw, and I think a lot of people aren't paid enough attention with their coaches when they start, so you get all these, they say the variations, the whole up and down, which really isn't good. I mean, you can hear my shoulder click now. And the whole draw all the way back, which with higher poundage longbow is not good. So yeah, I hope that's helpful for people out there, and post some questions, guys. Skirmish out.